WDEB News presents the regular monthly meeting of the Fentress County Commission. The Fentress County Commission meets the third Monday of each month, and you can see it live on Channel 12 cable TV. It's a presentation of the Union Bank of Jamestown and Clark Range, your reliable banking partner since 1904.
For more than a century, Union Bank has been serving the people of Fentress County. Now, as we begin a new chapter in our history of service, we want to take this opportunity to reassure you that while our building may be new, we're still the same friendly people you have known for years. Union Bank, the same people, the same goals, and the same commitment to you. Union Bank, your locally owned hometown bank for more than a century, growing to meet your needs. Equal Housing Lender Member FDIC.
This Fentress County Board of Commission meeting is called to order. Please rise for the presentation of colors by the Clark Range Color Guard, and then followed by the pledge to the flag by Kim Davidson, 2nd District Commissioner, and opening prayer by Lester Gooding, 4th District Commissioner.
Forward, march. Color Guard. Halt. Present. On.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. First verse. March. Forward. March. Forward. Halt. Order. Color. Order. Arms. Fall.
We'll bow your heads. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Father, we ask you to lead, guide, and direct us in the decisions that we have to make in the county court tonight. Father, hope that you stand by us. Ask that you bless each and every one of us, each and every one that's here, and bless the troops that's overseas and abroad here with us. We ask it in Jesus' precious holy name. Amen. Amen.
Again, appreciation to Clark Range JROTC Color Guard for their support and help every month. They do a great job. Thank you, First Sergeant. First thing, we have approval of minutes from December 18th, 2017 County Commission meeting. One. We have roll call, excuse me. Roll call vote, Marilyn.
Jimmy Johnson.
Here.
Justin Miller.
Here.
J.P. Reagan.
Here.
Kim Davidson.
Here.
Benny Hughes.
Here.
Donna Williams.
Here.
Lester Gooding.
Here.
Jeff Green.
Here.
Larry Cooper.
Here.
Wade Matthews.
Here.
All present.
We do have a quorum. Next is the approval of minutes from the December 18th, 2017 County Commission meeting. Everybody had a chance to look those over. Any additions, subtractions, corrections?
Move to accept.
Move to accept. Do I have a second?
I'll say.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Jimmy.
4.
Justin.
4.
J.K.
4.
Kim.
4.
Benny.
4.
Donald.
4.
Lester.
4.
Jeff.
4.
Larry.
4.
Wade.
4.
10 for, none against.
10 for, none against, motion passes. Next on the agenda, approval of the notary applications. We have Taylor Shea Hart, Lisa L. Wills, Jessica D. Cravens, Jamie Leanne Meadows, Richard Allen Radar, Christy F. Cooper, Melissa R. Brown, and Betty Bowden.
Make a motion to accept.
Motion to accept and approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Anyone wish to speak to the motion? Roll call vote, please.
Jimmy,
Four.
Justin,
Four.
JP,
Four.
Kim,
4,
Benny,
Four.
Donna,
Four.
Lester,
Four.
Jeff,
Four.
Larry,
Four.
Wade,
Four.
10 for, none against.
Motion passes. Next on the agenda is consideration of the pay scale committee members, and those will be examining the pay scale for Fentress County over the next couple, 3 months, maybe longer, making any recommendations as to any changes, tweaking that, abolishing it, redoing it completely, whatever that they decide, and we've tried to make sure that the entire county and each elected office has been represented. Those on the committee are Kim Davidson, Wade Matthews, Gil Royston, Trish Slavin, Melinda Sullivan, Tracy Todd, Candy Norman, Jimmy Markwood, Becky Crockett, Jason Gasper, Micah Dunford, and Kelly Cooper. Motion to approve that committee.
So moved.
Have a motion to approve the committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Got some. Since this is gonna be an ongoing thing that needs to be, it doesn't just need to be fixed now and just forgot about it.
Right.
So I'm thinking that if we're gonna set a board up like this or a committee up like this, we need to put a term and let them, to expire at some point in time. But I think that we should set some kind of term limit up, not just for the next 3 months, but, if we can set them up, half of them in 2 years and half of them for 4 years or something. Because even if you fix it within the next 3 months, in 2 years, it's gonna have to be looked at again.
Right.
And why not keep a committee in place that can revisit it at any time?
And would that be for the department maybe rather than the person?
Well,
Because most of the departments are recommended on there
right.
or represented.
One thing I'd like to recommend, like we've got 12. You start at the first one at 2, the next one at 4, as far as term limits. Every other one.
Every other one, 2 and 4, 2 and 4, 2
Yeah.
and 4.
If we're looking at that, I would think that committee needs to be represented by county commissioners.
Well, there's 2 on here.
There's no guarantee there will be in September.
Well, if they go off, then the next commission can reappoint 2 commissioners.
But if we're doing what you're saying, they're getting appointed for either 2 years or 4 years.
Right. Well, I mean, previous commissions,
back to the.
previous commissions have appointed people to boards we still have people appointed to boards now that we've not even voted on.
And
So that's just part,
true.
that's just part of government that just puts people in place, whether it's all right, we've got Kim Davidson and Wade Matthews.
Right.
There's no guarantee that they'll be on your office. Okay, if they get replaced, at least they've got the knowledge of what the pay scale is right now. But when the next commission that comes on may not have any knowledge of that. So at least you've got someone in place that knows a little bit about the pay scale. But that's just my thinking, that we need to,
So you
You know-
can still sit on the committee even if you weren't holding office, you
Yes.
can still have that position.
I mean, unless you
Can
decide that
resign.
if you don't want to do it anymore and you give a letter to the county executive or county commission to be removed from the board.
I'm not suggesting that those two should be taken off, but I'm suggesting that.
The county commissioner should
that the-
always be on.
That the commission should be represented, whether it's by those two or.
And we've
Well,
got boards now that no
I
commissioner.
understand that, but not something as.
I would point out this, Jeff,
Payroll
that,
is.
Right.
that the county commission is going to have to vote on and okay anything that they come up with, so you will have input.
Any commission, this committee doesn't have any power
I
whatsoever.
understand that.
All they're gonna come up with is a recommendation to whatever commission is sitting at this table. So this is something that we don't just need to fix for 3 months and then just forget about it. It's gonna have to be looked at quite often. That was just a suggestion. I'm just thinking that we might look into that, but that's just a suggestion.
Any other discussion, or?
Is that any type of motion?
No, it is not. No.
But it is open-ended like this, and we don't need to leave it open-ended,
Yeah.
always and forever, and,
How would we have to go about that since it's already been
Motion and second. How would we go about change,
Just amend the original motion.
Or do we need a wider representation of the commission instead of just two?
I mean, you've got 12 people on the board. You've
Yeah,
got
I
one from
agree with
every
the
elected
terms.
office.
If we get it any larger, it's
Yeah,
gonna get so
it's hard
large.
to,
and it's-
If you got 10 there, it's not gonna have
But the commission has final say.
on any,
You're gonna have a vote regardless, Don.
right, any commission, any commission from this point out is gonna have a say in it whatsoever.
somebody else would have to amend the motion?
Plus, you
I
could,
move to amend the motion and have this committee to remain in place for 1 year.
I have a motion to amend. Do I have a second to that motion to amend?
I'll second it.
Second to the motion to amend. Any discussion on the amendment? Roll call vote.
Jimmy,
Four.
Justin,
Four.
JP,
Four.
Kim,
Pass.
Benny,
Four.
Donald,
For it.
Lester,
Four.
Jeff,
Four.
Larry,
Against,
Wade,
Pass.
7-4-2 pass, and one against.
7-4-2 pass, 1 against. The amendment passes. That means we go back to voting on the original motion with the amendment. And that is to put these 12 people in place for 1 calendar year as a pay scale committee.
Was there a second on my original?
There was.
Yeah.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Jimmy,
Four.
Justin,
Four.
JP,
Four.
Kim,
Pass.
Benny,
Four.
Donald,
For it.
Lester,
Four.
Jeff,
Four.
Larry,
against,
Wade,
Pass.
7-1-2.
7-4-2 pass, 1 against. Motion passes. Okay, on to the next item. Consideration of approval of the Fentress County Parks and Recreation Master Plan presentation is presented by Reagan and Smith. And to get everybody up to par on that, Fentress County government in partnership with the city of Jamestown did apply for a TDEC master plan grant, and they used Reagan and Smith as the architect and engineer. Their job was to come in, look at all the facilities in Fentress County, as well as 33 acres that this commission had voted to buy a few months ago with the dedication of that property as a future park and recreations facility for Fentress County. What they've done is brought the presentation forward, assessed everything and made some recommendations. I want to be sure that I emphasize that there are no concrete plans on moving forward at this point in time. Once we have the master plan okayed, our grant writer, Amanda Maynard, will take that and apply for an LPRF grant with TDEC that could be worth up to $500,000. We won't know the outcome of that for several months, obviously, to come. In the ensuing time, we will have a Parks and Recreation Committee that will discuss any plans for that piece of property and how that should go about. But again, we're looking at something that's, we're at the very stage 1 of the plan, and we've got several years ahead, and expect input from the general public all throughout this procedure. Has everybody had a chance to look over the Parks and Recreation plan? Any decision tonight on accepting the plan?
So this could be actually step 1 of several steps.
Step 1 of several steps, yes, Jim.
And like Mike said, this is just the beginning of the process. We've had public meetings, we had one on October the 3rd, January 4th, and then the one that we had today. So, those are always gonna be advertised in the paper and on the radio, and we truly want input and feedback. This park, or anything that we do, is not for these people sitting here at the table. It's the people in the county. That's why we're building this. This is why we're doing this. I don't play t-ball, and I don't have children that play t-ball. But there are so many people in this county we want to invest in their future. We're not overlooking or sliding anybody. I think the plan that came out in the paper, the design, most of us sitting here at the table, that's not our ideal. That's not what we're wanting. And so that's not set in concrete. We want to do something that's going to benefit the most people that we can. So anytime we can get feedback and we can get input from the county, that's what we want to do, because it is your park, it is your facility, not ours. So that being said, we encourage and we invite anybody to do that, and we want to do the best we can. So this is step one. This is just something to get the ball rolling. We do not want to become stagnant. We do not want to stop. We want to keep growing and trying to move forward. So that's what this is. This is just something that we had to do. It's a hurdle we had to jump through so we can apply, hopefully, for some grants that we actually can help and see progress there. So just wanting that to be said, that what you saw in the paper is not a done deal. We encourage and we want input so we can develop the best park possible.
Any other comment?
And it'll be work in progress.
Oh, yeah.
You know, what we start with initially, whenever we do, have a groundbreaking, this is gonna go on for many years to come, and, as new needs arise. So, it's not something that we're gonna walk out there a year from now and this master plan, being in play. So,
Somebody made a very good point. It's kind of like your children giving you a Christmas list. This master plan is this major Christmas list, and y'all know in reality you sometimes can't get everything that's on that list. Sometimes you have to go, when they're asking for one thing, you might have to shop at the dollar store to get a version of it. We will do everything in our power to do what Fentress County can afford within reason. We want to, have a good facility, but we're gonna be reasonable about that. So again, this master plan is a wish list. It's this big Christmas list that we'd love to have if money wasn't an issue, but with everything we do, money is always gonna be an issue. So that will be a consideration with any step moving forward. But again, this was just a preliminary step we had to do to get progress going, to hopefully develop the park.
Any other comment? Do we have a motion?
move to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
You have a second. Anyone wish to speak to the motion?
Question.
Question has been called for. Roll call vote.
Jimmy,
4.
Justin,
4.
JP,
4.
Kim,
4.
Benny,
4.
Donald,
Pass.
Lester,
4.
Jeff,
4.
Larry,
4.
Wade,
4.
10 for, none against.
9-4-1 pass. Okay, motion passes. Next on the agenda is consideration of the Fentress County Highway Department road list for 2018. You've got that in your packet. That's been approved by Scott Norris, our Highway Department, and I think is there one additional there? Jeff, are we going to wait on that?
Yeah, there was yet some work to be done on, so we can add that next month or the
Okay.
next month or whatever.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the roads list.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion to accept, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Anyone wish to speak to the motion? Roll call vote.
Jimmy,
4.
Justin,
4.
JP,
4.
Kim,
4.
Benny,
4.
Donald,
4.
Lester,
4.
Jeff,
4.
Larry,
4.
Wade,
4.
10 for, none against.
10-4, none against, motion passes. Next, consideration of setting a date for a delinquent tax sale for the tax years 2014, 2015. And I think in work session, we discussed that being possibility of April the 6th, 2018. Do we have any discussion or a motion?
Is there particular verbiage we need to have in the motion to have this sale?
Just that you all approve the going forward of a tax sale. I present that copy of the minutes to the judge who's presiding over the actual court case that allows us to sell delinquent taxes. He will sign an order approving that. We just need something on the record that you all are aware and understand that we are about to proceed with a delinquent tax sale for these particular tax years that are delinquent.
For the date of April the 6th?
Yes, and the date.
What about a time? Time to be set, or do we need to set the
We
time?
usually always do those on noon, and it is on a Friday. That gives people more opportunity. And then it gives us about 3 hours to do the sale, and to the last hour to sort of business to get receipts and close out everything. So I always try to hold those at noon.
And there'll be some folks pay up before noon on that day, probably.
Yes, yes. We'll publish a cutoff date and time. Typically, the cutoff for those particular years is the day before at noon, because Jeff and I have to have an accurate list. And if you continue to take those up until the time, that very time of the sale, then you do like we did last time, and somebody run in there and say, oh, no, wait a minute, we just took a receipt on that. So we learned the hard way, and I've talked to other counties that you cut it off 24 hours ahead of the sale. You can't take any more payments on those particulars, because there's no way you'll end up selling somebody that's paid within that very short window of time.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize a delinquent tax sale of 2014, 2015 tax year for April the 6th at 12 noon. At the Fentress County Courthouse?
At
the Justice Center? At the
We have
Justice
to do it at the circuit court clerks are there. All of them have to come out and assist us.
Okay,
Because
at
it
the
is in
Justice
their
Center,
court.
at 12 noon on April the 6th.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll take it.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Jimmy,
Four.
Justin.
Four.
JP,
Four.
Kim,
Four.
Benny,
Four.
Dawn,
For it.
Lester,
Four.
Jeff,
Four.
Larry,
4.
Wade,
4.
10 for, 9 against.
10-4, 9 against, motion passes. Next, we've got consideration of the following budget amendments. I think we've got 3. Marcia couldn't be with us tonight. Larry, Chairman of our Finance Department, or Committee, do you want to take those?
I do. First one I have is for the Sheriff's Department, which is a reimbursement type grant from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office in the amount of $4,460.07. You'll look, it's already been deposited on the second page. That money's already here. This is just to reimburse what they've already spent.
I have a move to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Jimmy,
Four.
Justin,
Four.
JP,
Four.
Kim,
Four.
Benny,
Four.
Dawn,
For it.
Lester,
Four.
Jeff,
Four.
Larry,
4.
Wade,
4.
10 for, 9 against.
Motion passes.
Second one I've got is for the Senior Citizen Center. This is revenues for October, November, and December in the amount of $2,123.85. They've collected at the trustee's office that needs to be put in their account.
This is our monthly deal, okay?
Quarterly.
Quarterly. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion to approve. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Jimmy,
Four.
Justin,
Four.
JP,
Four.
Kim,
Four.
Benny,
For
Dawn,
Four.
Lester,
Four.
Jeff,
Four.
Larry,
4.
Wade,
4.
10 for, 9 against.
Motion passes. And the last one,
Is from the Board of Education. You'll find an attachment that the board has received a $403 from the state as a commodity rebate. They're asking us that that be put back in the cafeteria budget.
and I'll take a motion for that.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Anyone wish to speak to the motion? Roll call vote.
Jimmy,
Four.
Justin,
For it.
JP,
For.
Kim,
Four.
Jimmy,
For.
Donald,
For it.
Lester,
For.
Jeff,
For it.
Larry,
Four.
Wade,
4.
10 for, none against.
10 for, none against, motion passes. Any other business to bring before this commission?
Mr. Cross, Marcia, Delk from Finance messaged me and reminded me of something that I should have told you all in work session, and I apologize. If y'all will recall back in December, November, maybe, at some point, Dr. Clapp retired as medical examiner, and y'all appointed Chad Canancer, Dr. Chad Canancer, as medical examiner. However, I think this is my fault because I wasn't aware that there was a difference. Apparently, there is a portion of that duty under the code here, TCA 38.7-104, that requires him to sign a permit for cremation. Of course, he'd sign the death certificate if a person is cremated, obviously, but he also has to sign a permit for that, which is essentially the same paperwork, just no death investigation. And Marcia says that we need to set a rate for that particular portion of it versus, I think you'll agree to pay maybe $100 per death. Well, this is a little different, and Dr. Canancer has agreed that because this is only truly a paperwork portion, he would do those for $25, which is, I think, what Dr. Clapp perhaps was doing previously. I'm not 100% sure the fee on that, but at any rate, a much reduced rate because it is no investigation, it is paperwork only. It's essentially a quarter of their time or at that rate. So I just want y'all to understand that he won't be billing everything he does at $100, if that makes sense. There's a paperwork that is related to cremations only. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but I'm just letting you all know, and I don't know if you need to vote on that to amend that schedule, because I did not know initially. There's not that many of them that come up, and the ones that we looked at in coming up with that schedule didn't have any cremations on there, because I guess nobody's been cremated that month, but at any rate, that does happen.
Do we need to vote to accept?
I'm not sure, I'm not a parliamentarian.
If we set a limit or a rate on the death certificate, then we need to set a rate on this as well, I think. And if he's agreed to do it for $25, I don't care if to make that motion that we set that rate at $25 per cremation.
Permit and certificate.
Cremation, permit, permission,
Certificate.
I'll second that.
motion and a second, any discussion? Roll call vote.
Jimmy,
Four.
Justin,
For it.
JP,
For it.
Kim,
Four.
Kenny,
For.
Donald,
For it.
Lester,
For it.
Jeff,
For it.
Larry,
Four.
Wade,
4.
10 for, none against.
10 for, none against, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
For more than a century, Union Bank has been serving the people of Fentress County. Now, as we begin a new chapter in our history of service, we want to take this opportunity to reassure you that while our building may be new, we're still the same friendly people you have known for years. Union Bank, the same people, the same goals, and the same commitment to you. Union Bank, your locally owned hometown bank for more than a century, growing to meet your needs. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.